see it in a moment. We are live. We are finally up. Let's flip cameras. Boom. Let's get rid of this stupid countdown that says 0. It should say minus. Anyways, yeah, this is the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast.
Are we live?
It's 2:33. We're only 3 minutes behind, but hey, whatever. It's all the fun when you're.
All right, let me just, before we go live, I'm looking for it in your feed. I can't find it.
Yeah, it'll come up in a second. There you go. Anyways, we are live. Let's fade out this silly music. I like the music. I'm gonna bring it back.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
How do you like that? A couple of people are jumping on. I see them jumping on now. That's pretty cool.
Okay, let's wait until
Szabo, you there? You
Szabo
with us?
goes live.
Yeah. Oh, you're on. I hear you. I hear you. Beautiful, beautiful.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Sir Colin Campbell with Gary A. McGowan with the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast. We have a special guest here in the building. The man, the myth, the legend, my friend, Ian Szabo. Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, yeah, here we go. It's all fun. We got lots of fun things that we're doing today. Added some other elements and things are happening. I don't even know where I want to begin.
Well, let's find out who Ian is.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Look at this. My MacBook's doing crazy things. Ignore forever. Yeah, I'm going to hit that for sure. So, the Not So Black and White Real Estate. Yes, we are happy to have Mr. Ian Szabo here. If you saw our feed yesterday, you pretty much knew he was coming on because of some of the things that I was saying, but it's fun. Ian, welcome, my man.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. So, who the heck is Ian Szabo? Why do you belong in that seat? What gives you the credibility to be in that seat?
How did I win this pleasure? So you want me to start from the beginning?
So actually, why don't you just give us the 2-minute version of who Ian is, and then we'll dive into all that, your backstory and how this story and how I know your story is going to help people, whether you're in real estate or you're just trying to be a better person or you want to do bigger and better things. That's all going to be covered today. I know it is just because I know the story that's going to come out. But who's the 2-minute version of Ian?
I'm a guy that pushes to do better. I think I enjoy doing things that scare me. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy.
Okay, I'm gonna lighten this up for a second.
Okay.
You know our good friend Quentin D'Souza?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what he's calling this right now?
What?
The reverse Oreo. I don't even know where to go with that.
Quentin, how are you doing, my man? How are you doing?
Isn't he skiing? I thought he was skiing today.
Hey, wait.
He's gonna get in trouble.
This is the audience we pull in. You might be
Reverse Oreo.
skiing. You might be doing this.
Well, there's some backstory to your side. Though.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So sorry, I had to cut you off for that.
It's all good. I find myself trying to do better. And I don't know, I look at the mirror every morning and figure out, what am I going to do today? Am I living up to my expectations? Am I pushing forward? I find myself getting bored with things that most people are satisfied with. Have a short attention span. So I find myself, being a chef for 15 years and then reaching high levels of that and then switching and being a painter and then a renovator and then an author, then I own a school and then I wrote, it's just, I get bored and I like to challenge myself. And I think from my background, testing myself really helps my confidence.
Interesting.
Cool. I got some good insight from Kayla here. She's asking you to step closer to the mic, so that's good. Thanks, Kayla, for that. And I'll turn it up a bit. No, that's cool. There's a lot of, and just knowing you and knowing your story, and I got some good questions at the hand. We've all, last week, Colin and I discussed why real estate. And I think it was pretty clear because real estate for us gives us, is the vehicle for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so why real estate?
I'm lazy.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Come on.
Well, I'll give you the best example I can give you as a chef. No matter how successful of a chef I was always chained to a stove. So I love the fact that I could create things. I love working with brigades of people, and I love having really no rules. There's really no rules with cooking, you can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm,
But then I realized I don't want to be chained to a stove all the time. So what kind of career could I take where I could be creative?
Okay.
I could build something with a team.
Okay.
It could be challenging and there's not a lot of rules around it. And it will help me pay my bills. And real estate was the only thing that I could build something and move away and let someone else pay for it and give me time to do stuff like this or drive my bus around.
Interesting. Now, I'll just hold that thought there for a second. For any of you who are watching online with us, just ask that you share this because Ian is going to be sharing a lot of insights with us today, whether it's real estate investing, whether it's flipping, moving from a career as a chef into an investor. So anyone that you think would be see some value in this, please share it because there's going to be some real valuable content here today.
I hope so.
Well, we're with you.
Cool.
So yeah, you were saying you got into real estate because you're lazy and you wanted.
Well, no, I think not necessarily lazy. I like things to work for me.
Okay.
And I get bored easy. And I like to challenge myself and do different things and learn different skills.
Mm-hmm.
But I always needed to be able to fall back on something. I always needed something to produce income.
Okay.
I knew from a young age that I needed to. My father used to tell me all the time, "Get into real estate. What are you doing? Do real estate."
So what are you doing right now? Let's start from where you are today, and then maybe we'll even backpedal to see where the path that got you here.
Sure. So I think the easiest thing is I'm a realtor. I sell houses. I help investors buy properties. I help build portfolios so I can sit down with someone and figure out what they like and
Okay.
what they need to do. So I do that. I do some talks around renovations
Okay.
with the books that I've written.
Did you bring any of your books today?
No.
Gary, do
Oh,
we
I
have
got
any?
some. I'll go jump out here in a
Yeah.
moment
Okay,
and get
good.
some. Yeah.
And then I do talks. I do these short bus talks where I go to schools and I go to events and I talk to at-risk youth and I challenge myself to be better that way.
Okay, so that's where Ian is today in his life.
Mhm.
Give us a journey of how you got here.
Oh man,
We only have.
what do we have? So I guess I was when I was a kid I was a loner. I used to hang out by myself. I went to school in special ed. I used to go to school in a short bus.
Okay.
So a lot of my friends had learning disabilities, physical disabilities, and I didn't really fit in. I had learned when I was in those classes on how to be empathetic,
Okay.
how to learn from other people, and it was interesting. I've always learned by doing things or actually physically creating something.
Okay.
So I went through school. I failed like almost every class.
Wow.
I was horrible at reading and writing. I'm still not the greatest at it.
Yeah.
At the end of grade 8, I went to a vocational high school where you learn hands-on.
Yeah.
And I got suspended. I got in all kinds of trouble. And then at the end of that, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. Like, I didn't know how I was going to get a job. I didn't know what I was going to do. And my girlfriend at the time, which is my wife now, Tanya,
Good.
she's like, just take a course because you can't fail. You can't fail and drop out of high school, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I took cooking, and I happened to be good at it. I could put all these combinations together of being fast-paced and working in an environment, and I excelled at it.
Okay.
So I did that for 15 years.
15 years you were a chef.
Yeah.
Were you working at some of the big restaurants or?
Yeah, I started at a little restaurant in Pickering where I live called Casa Verde. It's still there, and I learned, and then I went to George Brown, and then I got an apprenticeship at the Prince Hotel with this this crazy German chef that used to throw stuff around and yell and scream.
Like Chef Ramsay.
He made Ramsay look like a regular dude, right? But I did that, and I was on the Canadian culinary team for 3 years.
Wow.
And then my last job was at the Granite Club. I was executive sous chef at the Granite Club when I was 25 years old at the time.
Holy smokes, man.
Yeah.
So you here as a kid who had trouble in school and just stumbled upon cooking, and then you started to really excel at that. And you were, one can argue, at the pinnacle of your career where most people, strive to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And you were there at 25.
Yeah, I was there at 25. It was interesting because we'd fly to New York City and eat at like the best restaurants. And then I remember I remember looking at my girlfriend or my wife at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is crazy. I don't want to spend 14, 18 hours in the kitchen every day, even though I loved it.
Really?
I didn't make sense. Like I want to have a family, I want to have kids, and I wanted to be around.
Mhm.
So I did what every smart person should do: is give up their $100,000 a year job and go paint houses for $15 an hour, right?
So wait. So you were a very successful chef, traveling around the world, and you just quit one day.
Yeah, there were some changes at the organization that I were with, and they brought in some new people, and I wasn't feeling it.
Okay.
It just didn't work for me. So, and I always wanted to switch. So I had some time where I was like, what do I do? And at the time, my father was a painter.
Yep.
And I was like, well, why not try that? So we started painting houses, then we built up the business, and I kind of used the organization of a chef and applied it to renovations because I didn't understand at the time when I was working at the club, they did this big renovation. And all these guys putting up drywall were going home at 5. I'm like, dude, why aren't you staying till like 12 and putting up drywall?
Yeah,
Like, I'm working with stuff that goes rotten and you can't get this done. I don't get it.
Of course.
So I'm like, what if I took all the skills as a chef,
yeah.
perishable items that go rotten that you're under a strict timeline, and if I applied them to renovations? So over the next 5 years, I started building that up, and I got picked up with HGTV, the W Network, House and Home, and I started doing on-air renos. And at this time, I had no idea what I was doing, by the way, right? Like, my dad's like, "You're nuts! What are you doing?" I said, "Well, they're not going to put bad TV on. Like, mess something up."
So help us understand here, Ian, because I'm struggling with this.
Tell me.
Here it is. You are a successful chef. You making over 100,000 easy. Making over 100,000 easy, and after that, you've left that and you've moved to, painting renovation.
Yep.
And you're doing nice. You're being picked up on national TV. The show is being broadcast everywhere. What does that do for you? What does that do for your family? What does...
It seems more romantic than it actually is. Okay. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. It's a lot of good from afar, but far from good.
Okay.
So like in the renovation business, you're looking for referrals.
Yeah.
And in the TV business, it's get in, get it done, and then we'll send a crew in after to figure it out.
Okay.
So for me, it was good because I had exposure on in front of a camera. I was learning from the best designers. I was learning the trade because I still didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest with you. So it was, for me, it was more of an education. So I kind of matched, okay, what do I need to learn? What are the trends? What do people want? And it happened to be good that I had some airtime as well.
Okay. And how long did you do that for?
I believe it was 5 years, 4 or 5 years. And then I realized that I can make way more money just doing behind the scenes. So I said, why don't you just give me like 26 houses and I'll finish the 26 houses and you can put someone else way better looking and smarter than me on camera with better hair. And let me just move on and make the money and you guys can figure it out, right? And then I didn't get stuck in all the drama of the TV stuff, which in my mind, I come from production, right? We're in a kitchen where you got to get stuff done. And when someone's like, hold on, we got to test the sound, or hold on, we got to film this. And it cramped my style. You know what I mean? I just want to get things done, move on.
Now, are you the type of person who gets, bored very fast, that you always looking for that next high, that buzz, that something to hold your attention? Yeah,
I think you could call it the actual term ADD. I think it's ADD. I don't think it's a strategic thing. If I stuck with one thing,
you know what I think? I think a lot of successful people have ADD.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. And I was going to say it's probably because it's a lack of focus, but it's a very specific focus that they want to know. They want to achieve like big heights, or they want to do something big, and they can't move on to the next piece until that thing has been achieved. Right. And to me, that I think that's where a lot of people kind of misinterpret, our rabbit trail minds to what success can really be. You know what I mean?
And I think if I look back at it, a lot of people joke and say, you have all these successful businesses and you kind of blew up a lot of them, right? You kind of just blew them up and walked away. And if I look back, probably hiring someone and putting them in the place of the organization of it would have been a lot smarter move. But for me, I get satisfaction. It's an insecurity, right? It's a deep down insecurity. Like, I'm not good enough. I can't accomplish things. And then the next thing is I want to try this. No different than the short bus or writing the books. Like I shouldn't be writing books. Like I can't read very good. You're talking to the wrong dude here. But I had major anxiety. Like I couldn't sleep when the book came out. I was like, for 2 days I couldn't sleep, and when I signed documents I couldn't sleep. It's just pushing past it. It's almost like, I don't know.
So tell me a little bit more about that, because you just said that here is someone who can barely read properly, and you've written, how many books you've written?
2.
2.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
I know. How many books have you written?
None as yet.
Yeah, me either.
How many you
I've
intend
been
to
in books.
Yes. Featured in books.
Yeah. Love it.
So, tell me more about that.
Well, I think after I started doing the YouTube videos and then doing the renos, I started flipping houses. So instead of doing renos for my clients, I would borrow funds from them and I actually flip houses. And that's kind of on my way out of the reno business. And then I got approached to write a book, and I'm like, I can't write a book. You're talking to the wrong guy. And I said no a couple times, and they finally said, well, pay someone to interview you. And I'm like, okay. And I kept saying, I don't think I have enough value. I don't think I have enough to give into a book. I don't think I can give you what you're looking for. And I just said, yeah, and I did it. And I had my friend Xander Robertson that wrote both books for me, and he interviewed me, and